What is up, guys? This is your boy Zilla, and welcome to today's episodes. I'll be discussing why Cyberpunk 2077 is going to be Game of the Year, because apparently for the past 6 months it's been getting disrespected on every end, saying there's cut content, no wall running, even though that was an early build of the game that we saw 2 years ago. Then they're talking about no first person, they're talking about all the bad things, the crunch and this and this and that, and they're trying to discredit the game. But let me just come out and say, let's not act like Cyberpunk isn't going to win Game of the Year. Let's not act like Cyberpunk isn't going to win Best RPG of the Year. And let's not act like Cyberpunk is not going to run amok at the Video Game Awards, because it's going to dominate, because it's going to be the best game that's come out in years on either the PS5 or the Xbox Series X or the last gen consoles. So I'm going to break it down, the reason why Cyberpunk is not only going to be Game of the Year, but it might be Game of the Decade. Whether you consider it 2010 to 2020 or 2020 to 2030, it might just be both. So before I do that, please hit that subscribe button, also hit the notification bell so you get a notification every time I make a video. And guys, let's get into this. Starting off with the first reason why Cyberpunk is going to win Video Game of the Year is the quality and the time put into this project. The last time I saw a game have this much hype and this much quality time in development was Red Dead Redemption 2, which is my favorite game of all time. And this game got announced before Red Dead 2. This game has been in development since 2013. Now I know they were mainly working on The Witcher and they had Cyberpunk as a concept, but we saw the first trailer in 2013 and we're not getting the game until November 2020, which I think it was shown off at E3 2013. So that means that the PlayStation, Xbox were just getting showed off, if I'm correct. And now we're at the end of the generation to the next line consoles, and we are just now getting Cyberpunk 2077. That's a huge length of development time, quality assurance. Now, of course, the main development probably didn't start until around 2017, once they finished all the Witcher 3's DLC and all that, and they mainly focused on Cyberpunk, fleshing that out. But even from that point, you know, they were working on it from the side. So from the side, it was probably given 3 years of concept and about another 3 years of main development in between that. So we're talking about 7 to 8 year development cycle, with 3 years mainly just focusing on that and being in the second front runner seat between probably The Witcher's last year of development until the DLCs were finished. So we're talking about 3 periods of development for Cyberpunk 2077. And this game is finally now about to come out. The vision, the different technology that they're putting in it, the quality of time, the assets, the attention to detail, which brings me to my second point, the lore. If you know how much lore was put into this game, because it's based off a tabletop game made by its creator, I forget his name, Mike Pondsmith, and this game has tight lore. The eddies, the lore about the money, the currency system, the different corporations, kind of taking that Fallout type setup of having all this going on, all mixed in with RPG mechanics that feed into the lore of the game, the different technologies. All this perfectly blends in well together, combined with your choices. And we have not seen that in a game of this magnitude, AAA magnitude. We've seen it in some AA games, we've seen it in Fallout, we've seen it in some AAA games, but none to this extent that's taken this concept overboard. And speaking of overboard concepts, can we just take a minute to appreciate not only lore, but the guns in this game, and the lore behind the guns, and the logic behind the guns, and how they affect the gameplay. This is probably going to be one of the best gunplay systems, and as far as variety, different wacky stuff that it could do since Borderlands, guys. Borderlands, from like almost at the beginning, or even before the beginning of this generation, on the 360, since we've seen all these kind of wacky guns in this realistic aesthetic come alive. Like, these guns are so crazy, shooting through walls, smart bullets, stuff that we have never seen in video games at this scale, at this quality, so fleshed out. Which brings me to my other point, which is one of the bigger points on why this game is going to definitely be Game of the Year, possibly Game of the Generation, is because of the factions. The faction systems take a really traditional turn, but they are all so interesting. It took a trailer to show us all the factions. And no matter how much you like Fallout 4, it had okay factions, a great world, but this thing is not only going to have backstories, it's going to have factions who have backstories that lead you into other stories, which in the missions you can decide their fate, whether they are eliminated or whether they're still with you at the end of the game. The amount of choice with these factions is going to be like any other game. Like in one of the missions where you're dealing with, I think, Arasaka in the Maelstrom game. Everybody remembers this mission from the demo 2 years ago, where you go in and you plant that chip for the corpos and it kills them. Most of the Maelstrom game, hardwired, fries them or something like that. And at the end you fight this boss in a sort of a little section. I can't remember what it looked like. He had a suit on, and he got killed. And I remember in an interview I was listening to somebody talk about who got their hands on this preview build, because that happens early in the game. They literally said that there are 7 ways that mission could have went down, and plus on top of that, that one of the times you could actually help the Maelstrom gamers get the virus off the chip using a coding hack that you would have gotten if you would have upgraded your coding or had a different background that you come from, which you could have recognized the virus, took it off. They would have actually got the money, but it would alert the corporation of Arasaka that you took the virus off of it, and they would have came in, stormed the building, and they would have had to fight the boss that you would have originally had to fight, the Maelstrom gang boss. And then you had to help him fight the corporation. And this is only maybe like 5 hours into the game, and you're already presented with these major choices for these factions on whether you'll ally with them, and who knows where y'all relationship with the Maelstrom game takes off from that. And we have factions outside of the Night City in the Badlands. I think too, if I'm correct, then you have most of them in the city vying for power, which are probably going to be built into the story. So from a gang perspective, we've never seen gangs that are going to have this much presence in the story and have this many curves. And you can see the greatness that Cyberpunk is presenting us, not only with the amount of factions, but with the RPG mechanics, which is the next thing I want to get to. Guys, we're not even really considering it, but this game is going to have so many upgrades, so many different things, not only at the gun level, not only at the character level, but at the customization level, in the background level. We're not even thinking about how this all feeds in to the RPG leveling up mechanics, because once you start upgrading, certain skills are going to impact the story in a particular way. Because if you have an engineering skill, just like in the demo, you could get in through the ceiling, which led you to the Maelstrom gang boss fight, or you could go straight to the door. All these decisions play back into the game. And let's not even start to think about, guys, you have a background, so the background that you come from is going to affect your stats, the settings, and what knowledge do you know combined with different builds. Remember, in the demo, they specifically said, depending on what background you come from, what stats you put into one another, stuff is going to happen in the later parts of the game that change the story. And combined with the RPG mechanics and the story, combined with the different characters that we've already loved and seen, like June, you know, the lady with the blue hair, I can't remember her name, you know, the side characters, everything, like the Ripper Docs, like all this lore. I think Cyberpunk, where it's going to shine the most, is not only in the RPG and the leveling mechanics and the different missions that you can get into, but it's mixing RPG based mechanics with a heavily tight story, no matter what background you come from, and how all your stats are going to feed into the choices, which is necessary for an RPG, you know. And I want us to think about this. Cyberpunk, everything that they've showed us up to this point is been 5 hours into the game. It has not even been, you know, anything. They literally 2 years ago showed us an hour and a half build, and then the rest of the light pass were in the first 5 hours. We have not seen anything past the first 5 hours, and people are saying they're being overwhelmed with content. They are being overwhelmed with the mechanics, overwhelmed with the characters, overwhelmed with the crazy stuff that's happening in the open world. This game is going to be amazing, and I think it's not even going to be deniable, because once it comes out, I think it's going to steamroll everything, and it's going to be the biggest game this year and the best game this year by far. Put some respect on CPR's name, And this has been the best go year in gaming. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Is Cyberpunk going to win Game of the Year? And if not, which game is going to succeed in that contest? Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Also, set the notification bell to get a notification every time I make a video. And I will see you guys later.